What is going on, everybody? What is going on? We are the Stylist from the back room. Good morning, John. How are you?
Patty, good morning. Dude, a year and plus later, I still dig that intro, man. That is awesome.
That is an awesome intro. It will forever be our intro. Well, at least that song, that sound will be forever uh, because Giovanni custom did that for us.
So I have a question for all of our peeps that are out there with us, that are with us in and out, especially to all of our friends in the Chicago area. I want to know what feedback we would get if you think Eddie and I should have a weekly radio show on the radio, AM radio. If that comes about, would people listen? I want to know.
No, they want us to be on Sirius, on satellite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. On satellite or on AM? Which one? Yeah, right.
Yeah, satellite or AM. Give us some feedback. We want that. We have a lot of awesome stuff coming up, man. Coming up, we have an Hours Day, right? Which is sold out.
The May 19th is sold out, but we've got another date that we added on for June 16th, which is a little over 2/3 full now.
Wow.
I am shocked. Personally, I'm shocked about that one.
Can you say it? I want you to say it on live, on Facebook Live and on YouTube. Who was right, Eddie? Me and who?
I am impressed that hairdressers were correct. That they wanted, another date added on.
You won't give it to us, will you?
And they actually said they'd show up, and it's like saying, "Hey, have a party. We'll all show up." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." Then all of a sudden, you're just sitting there by yourself with,
But what two gorillas came up with this idea? I'll give you a hint. There's me, and then he's about 5'2", 5'3".
I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
I'll say it. Darren was right.
In your dreams.
So we got that class coming up. And then we got one in June. You'll be able to if you register and you come to the class, there's some extremely awesome deals that are going to be available to you. And we will ship them straight to you. Right? And yeah, I guess it's time for our quiz, unless you got any other housekeeping you'd like to go over.
You keep talking about the deals. June 16th is going to be about education more, first and foremost. About anything else is going to be about education. We're going to be going over multiple topics, okay? Talking about shedding, talking about hair loss, haircuts, hair color, hair extensions, keratin depletion, and styling. A couple of other topics I'm forgetting at the moment. It's important to make that understood, though, because it's 7-hour day. No, you laugh, man. But people thinking they're just going to come and listen to one thing for 7 hours. I can't even talk about one thing for 7 hours.
Yes, you can.
I can't even sleep for 7 hours.
Well, that we know. But really, and one of the cool things that we're really going to get kind of knee deep into is with these the weight loss shots and the thinning of the hair because of the weight loss shots. We're going to get into that at the class, not here. Yes, it is. You are 100% correct. It is going to be a day of education, entertaining education. Though we're not just going to be droning on with you falling asleep in the chair. It's very interactive, and the last one went so fast. I couldn't believe 7 hours went by like that. So we're very fortunate. We had a great group. I know anybody that comes to our classes, usually we have great groups. So we're very fortunate that way. So give me your quiz, my guy. Let's go.
Oh, the quiz. I forgot about the quiz. Oh my gosh. Hold on a second. Let me get myself situated.
Uh-oh.
Whoa.
Uh-oh.
One moment, please.
Hold, please. Thank you for calling Comcast.
Right, Liz. And please enjoy the music while we
Yeah.
connect. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
What is the term for the hair's ability to stretch and return to its original shape without breaking? Is it density, elasticity, porosity, or integrity?
I'm going to go with elasticity.
Ding, ding, ding. I need you one of those bells.
I don't even have my handy dandy all nutrient swatch book with me.
Dandy, man. Should have came up with color questions. More color questions. All right, you ready for this one?
Yeah.
Which lightener type is best for on-scalp applications? Is it powder, clay, cream, or oil-based lighteners?
Oh, you're asking an old school hairdresser that question. I'm going to go with oil.
So now, think about this. Nowadays, is there even any on-scalp lighteners anymore?
There's one. I'm not allowed to mention the name though, right?
Okay.
Or can I?
Okay.
There is one, and it's been around for a long time. They're still making it with the little bottle, blue bottle, and then you have the powder, and you mix the powder up first, then you add the oil. There is one, but a lot of like the cream ones now are buffered so much that you can use them on scalp. Now I know people that use powder on scalp. They load it up with buffers and things like that. And I seem to remember you and I came up with a formula for an on-scalp bleach.
It is a very unofficial.
It is very unofficial.
It is a very unofficial formula that we custom made ourselves. If you are interested in that formula, reach out to us at htbbeauty.com. And after a conversation, we will share it with you.
And it works. It works.
It works until it doesn't. And when it doesn't work anymore, we will deny that we ever told it to you.
Well, you will get nothing in print from us. We will.
But if you're trying to make black hair blonde, yes, it will work. Whatever hair is left will definitely be blonde.
Two of us huddled in that back room like mad scientists. We're like Igor and Dr. Frankenstein. I still remember that. But the answer is oil bleach.
Yeah. Which technique involves cutting the hair in its natural fall position to preserve the head shape? Is it over-directing, slide cutting, zero elevation, or precision cutting?
Ooh. I'm going to go zero elevation.
What is the difference between zero elevation and precision cutting?
Precision cutting is just moving from section to section and keeping your guideline.
Would that help preserve head shape over zero elevation?
No, because your precision haircutting is about layering and things like that too.
Okay. Just trying to throw you a trick question there.
Keep trying. Come on. Come on.
Why is sectioning crucial when applying a color service? Does it prevent tangles during the processing? Does it make hair appear thicker? Does it ensure even saturation and consistent results? Or does it speed up application time?
Or E, Eddie says so.
Dude, have you seen people apply hair color without sectioning? Like they just grab hair and just apply color. Like I understand the way I apply color is somewhat different than what most people do, but I'm achieving the same result. But I watch some people's applications and it's just mind-boggling to me. I don't get it.
This is a great side. I'm going to go sideways on you real quick. As we well know, 90%, I'm going to call it 90% of hair color failures is because of application.
Okay.
Not applied correctly. There's a couple of guys on the internet who do voiceovers on these epic fails that people do with hair color on their hair. The one guy I really like, his name is the Hair Buddha, and he gets these people that send in their hair. They're putting hair color on themselves, and they'll start with bleach right at the root, and then pull it through their previously colored ends and things like that. But as we well know, application is 90% of it, and I mean besides formulation, but with application, you got to know your hair density, and that's why section by section it ensures a nice even application. Thicker, coarser hair, you're going to take a thinner section, right? I have seen people do some crazy stuff doing applications. I had one girl that was like, "This is what I was taught in beauty school." I'm like, "What? What?" So yes, it is for a nice, even application.
Cap. What's a key reason to avoid overusing protein-based treatments on healthy hair? They cause buildup. They create a waxy finish. They may lead to protein overload, or they overhydrate.
Wait, rephrase that question. I mean, say that again for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. What's the key reason to avoid overusing protein-based treatments on healthy hair? They cause buildup. They can create a waxy finish. They lead to protein overload, or they overhydrate.
It'll lead to protein overload, but there will be a buildup with excess protein too. So I'm going to say yes, except for the last one.
So do you know what protein buildup in the hair feels like? Can you describe that?
It makes the hair very stiff and non-pliable.
It's almost like, you ever get a hangnail?
Yeah.
And you just feel that weird discomfort thing? That's what it feels like on the hair shaft. When you run your fingers down your hair shaft, and it almost sticks you, like it almost pokes you. It's kind of rough.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I turned the volume off today. All right. Let's see. I lost my place.
You're fired. You get to go home.
Well, you don't have your handy dandy book today, so I can't ask you that question. Let's see. What is one reason your toner might turn out darker than expected? You didn't shampoo right. The developer strength was too high. The hair was too wet, or porosity.
I'm going to go with porosity.
Whoa. Why porosity?
Well, what is porosity? The ability to accept and the ability to absorb a liquid. So if it's super porous hair, it's going to suck that toner in.
These are great tips. These quizzes are great refreshers. They're great tips. We goof off, but it really, the whole purpose of all of this is helping stylists stay focused on the task at hand, And what's really important about that is when these are the kind of the things that, you're supposed to study during beauty school. But what is there? Two types of students or three? The ones that show up, the ones that don't show up, and the ones that show up, but for Forgot to study?
It just take up space.
So depending on what kind of student you are, once you graduate and now you're out there in the real world, there is a lot of things going on. There is a lot of things going on. So, like I said, we goof off, but we're going to take the next couple of weeks, especially considering this is a renewal year. One of the things I get asked frequently is, I just graduated. Do I need to renew my license? It's like, well, did you not pay attention? Like, this is your buy year. You just got issued. But again, if you don't know, you just don't know. So you got to ask a question. You got to ask the question, right?
Right.
The thing of it all is, the next question I get all the time is, I just graduated. How do I get started?
Mm-hmm.
So let's take the next couple of weeks and let's start talking about different aspects of getting started. I think it's really important to understand it, especially because we've been there, we've done that. We've had everything. We've lost everything a couple of times. We've had to rebuild a couple of times too. So I don't think it matters how many years of experience you have in the industry. Getting started is getting started.
And I guess getting started is first thing is you. Wow. I knew we were going to get into this. I just wasn't really. There's so much that's coming to my head. Here's my getting started.
Quit while you still can.
Run. Run. The Amazon vests are kind of cool. Here's my take on, and I get asked this all the time. The same question. And my first thing I say is, you've got to go to a salon that is going to invest in you. You've got to go to a salon that is going to nurture you and bring you along. You had a mentor. I had a mentor. You need a mentor. I don't care. You could be awesome coming out of beauty school. You could be awesome, but you don't possess the skills to attract a clientele yet. You get in with a salon and you're committed to that salon for a period of time. And hey, it may be your one and only. I spent 28 years in the same place. And you go to work for a salon that is going to bring you along and boost you up. And it's a fair trade, because you're going to work hard for them and they're going to give you, whatever they're going to pay you. And then they're also going to help you gain a clientele. And I think that a lot of people lose the thought of that. I'm in a sweet situation right now. And I love the fact that the guy that my landlord will not rent to someone just out of beauty school. He won't do it, because he goes, why am I going to help set you up for failure? So that's the first things first, is really, and then it is going in and being humble. That is such a word. Be humble. There are people in these salons that have been there a very long time, have clienteles that could choke a horse, okay? And they know stuff. They know things that you haven't even come across yet. I mean, at 35 years, I still get hit with stuff that I'm like, what? That's number two. And that's, find someone that you can, you can mentor, that can mentor you, and then you help them. It's a fair trade agreement. Or, if you're lucky enough, a lot of salons have training programs that you can get into a training program. But with that being said, there's also the fact of, when you see something going on by a stylist, you don't just walk right up to them while they're working on a client and go, hey, what's that you're doing? You wait, you get them in the back room, you get them off to the side, because you don't want to mess with their mojo that they have with the client, right? Unless, but the other side of that is unless, unless the stylist goes, hey, Eddie, come here, check this out. I bet you've never seen this. Then that's a different story. But if you're interested in something, you can always grab them later and go, hey, I saw you, like I'll use this for instance. A couple years ago when we were doing America's Beauty Show, and Bernard was doing that slide cutting where he was just barely flexed, and I was like, wow, that's kind of cool, Bernard. Show me, And he took the time and he showed me, exactly with the blending of the hair extensions. Same thing. I'm, 30 plus years in the business. So, I mean, I still haven't seen it all. I still don't know it all. And that's the one thing that you've always got to remember with what we do. You're never going to know it all. So first things first, number one is get into a situation where you've built your foundation of your house, with going to beauty school, passing the state board. You've built your foundation. Now you got to build that house on that foundation. And I think that's really the first level of your house is then getting trained, because you've been given the basics and now you got to take it to the next level. Am I wrong? Am I right?
It's so true. It's so true. The education, unfortunately, the education never stops. You think you're going to finish school, you're going to get out of school, and you're just going to start doing. The doing, I don't think the doing ever starts. I don't think you ever start doing hair. I think you're always learning how to do hair forever. And that's one of the biggest eye-opening things I ran into when I first got out. It's just everything is so different and everything is evolving and everything is changing all the time. And 30 years later, it is still changing all the time. I think it was easier then than it is now. I think there is so many more techniques available. I think the trends change so much quicker these days. I think there is so many more fashion options available. It's damn near impossible to keep up, right?
Dude, I remember late 80s, early 90s. I mean, actually, it was more early 90s. I mean, we spent a solid year and a half cutting the Jennifer Aniston haircut and doing those buttery caramely highlights that she had. I mean, that was a solid year and a half. Every woman wanted that hair. Now it's every 6 weeks things are changing up, if that.
It's so wild.
It's so nuts. Wild. But once again, education, and you never, ever, ever stop learning. Don't ever think you know it all and you don't have to go to a class besides other than to get hours. And
you never realize like where you're going to be and who you're going to talk. Yesterday, I was with Carmelina. We're shopping for her, to get her a new vanity. Just with the salesperson, started talking about hair. Like we just went sideways on the conversation for a minute. Started talking about hair, and all of a sudden she's asking me questions that I answer all the time on a regular basis. It's just in that moment, my mind was consumer shopper. My mind wasn't, educator or hairdresser. We weren't in the salon environment, right? For the first 5 seconds, I actually was stammering. How do you say? Stuttering. I didn't know what to tell her for a second. And then I had to recollect myself and kick my brain back into gear, like back into work mode. And then, I just gave her a whole 30-second elevator pitch. And she was like, holy cow. Okay. That was way more than I thought I was going to get it. And it was cool. My wife consultation.
My wife does that to me all the time. We'll be out, we'll be shopping. And I'm not, I personally despise shopping. But I go along with, so I'm cranky to begin with. And then she'll start talking to some sales girl and they'll be like, oh yeah, well, my husband's a master colorist. John, come here. What would you do with her? And I'm like, I got my hat on. I'm in grungy sweats and a grungy sweatshirt, and I'm like, yeah, you really want me doing your hair, But and then I pulled a whole handful of clients just that way, and that's it. And that's the other part of getting started. Your new stylist guide, okay, is when you get into a salon, always, always, always have business cards on you. I don't care what anybody says. Yes, social media is your digital business card. Yes, I get that. I understand that. But when you are interacting face to face, it is very important to go, hi, I'm Eddie. I work at Carmelina's salon. Here's my business card. I'd really like the opportunity to do your hair. That is going to be your second most easiest way to get clients besides word of mouth. But you got to make that impression first before you get the word of mouth. But that is super important, is marketing yourself. And that's part of the style, getting started. I'm a new stylist over here at the salon. I really love the opportunity. You always tell the story of when you opened your shop and you went to every store in the surrounding strip mall. And not just once, not just twice. It was like you were on like a quest.
It was a daily. I would make my rounds. I was like the mayor of the strip mall. I would make my rounds. I would purposely get lunch at the pizza dude. I purposefully go look at all there was a Blockbuster back then.
Oh.
So I would purposely go flirt with the employees, and I didn't give a crap if it was a guy or a girl. Well, not obviously. For me, flirting with girls was easier because I like girls, but even the guys, I flirted with them too. I didn't give a crap. We had a Dairy Queen. There was a sushi restaurant. There was a Chinese restaurant. I don't even like Chinese food. There was a deli. I had no idea what the hell they were talking. It was a Russian deli. I had no idea. I don't know how to speak Russian. There was a Dominic's. I used to grow grocery at Dominic's.
Did I ever tell? Did I tell the story on here or not? I can't. I'm old and my brain goes. When I was at the big shop, they opened up a Jewel across the street, and I was new young colorist, right? And I'm going, all right. So I walked over there one day, and I had a bunch of my business cards, and I started slipping them into the boxes of hair color in the hair color aisle. 2 weeks later, we got a cease and desist letter at the salon. I figured I could help. Well, people goof up with that home hair color all the time. I figured, hey, what a better way to get clients. Also, anytime we went out, my wife would leave one of my business cards on the vanity in the woman's room.
Sure.
Anytime, anywhere. Look, I always tell the story of to a lot of people about you and me. Anytime we did a show, us going out to dinner the night before the show, and if we were short models, every waitress and every bartendress that we came across we worked them. And how many models did we get that way? Or the two girls from the hotel in downtown Chicago.
That was hilarious.
Okay. and but the same thing. We were short models, and people want to talk about their hair. I mean, talk about getting started. That's a great way. Everywhere you go, guys, when you get started, everywhere you go, there's potential clients. I do 3 nurses from my doctor's office. The minute they found out what I did for a living, all 3 of them were in the room with me. I'm like, yeah. Can I put my clothes on first? But you know what I mean? It's the same thing. Everywhere you go, the gas station, wherever, dry cleaners, and the surrounding businesses, make yourself available. And that doesn't mean, and here's the biggest thing that I see, and especially lately with young stylists, and it's a criticism, is They can't wait to go get back into the break room or off into a corner and get on their phone. That's not how you attract clients. You got to get yourself out there on the floor, let people see you, help the other stylists. You never know. You never know. That stylist could be sick one day, or maybe they're looking for a change. Maybe the person's looking for a change, and you could be that person, which then ingratiates yourself with your owner, because we're keeping that client inside those four walls, right? Instead of that client going, 20 miles away or wherever to another shop. You always have opportunity. Or I still remember I had times where I was so busy that I would put the single process on real quick, and then I would turn the client over to my assistant. And I can't tell you how many times my assistant ended up with that client when they got on the floor, because they felt I was too busy for them. Opportunity is everywhere. Yeah, but you've got to be humble. You are not going to be the biggest, the most talented person in that shop, because there's people there that have built clienteles, and be there to help them, and they'll help you. I mean, am I wrong?
You're not going to be the most talented yet. But yeah, over the course of the next couple of weeks, we'll go over more topics that are involved with this as well.
Yeah.
And we'll just keep doing it because it's something that is requested a lot, is how to get started. We do it in small bits. It just makes life easier.
Yep.
Because that could be a whole, I mean, it really is a whole presentation in itself, right?
It is.
So yeah.
Did I go sideways on you with that, or?
No, not at all. Not at all. If there is a specific aspect of getting started that you're interested in, throw us a comment and let us know, and we'll work it into this guide as well, because we've gotten a lot of feedback. I've collected a whole bunch of stuff to go over. We've kind of already slotted them week to week, but yeah, if there is something that you're thinking of, leave us a comment, let us know, reach out to us. If we don't already have it queued up, we will add it in the queue, and we'll definitely go over it as well too.
Absolutely.
To kind of piggyback on that too, there is a couple of brushes that we're going to review. And this was another request, was to review these brushes. And the reason is because a lot of stylists will call over to the office and they'll say, I need, what size brush do you think I need? It's like, well, what are you doing? And it just has come down to, there is 3 particular brushes, in my opinion. These are the only 3 brushes that matter. Everything else, is useful and it's situational, but these become your staple brushes. Okay. And it's really, really wild. It's a 43 millimeter, a 53 millimeter, and a small handheld paddle brush. Those 3 sizes are the most common sizes that I see 90% of the time people go to.
And that's what I use most days. A combination of those 3 brushes. And
it's really wild. It's really, really wild. The thing what I see the most though is everybody uses the 43 millimeter the most, and they try to use it for everything.
They do.
And it's like, sometimes I get the call, it's like, I just can't get the volume to hold. I just can't get big hair. It's like, well, what size brush are you using? 43. It's like, you want to increase the size slightly. Like, what is going on? Like, why is everybody always trying to force? What is this concept of just using one brush does it all?
But see, we're kind of going to backpedal for just a second, but as stylists, we find something that works and we ride it like the Kentucky Derby. Okay. Look, the paddle brushes, I had my Ergo paddle brush forever. I inherited another one. It fell out of your bag at a show into mine. I love the Ergo paddle brushes, And then what happens? They come out with the gentle paddle brushes and 2 sizes. So, and I love them. And I have not picked up another paddle brush. I have a bunch of different, paddles, but since I started with those, they're amazing. And so, yeah, you get used to something that works for you, so you're gonna make it work for you.
Mhm.
You know, so yeah, so yeah. Why would I want to use a bigger brush when I can just wrap it around a couple times and spray it? There's a girl right by me. When she blow dries hair, she leaves the brushes set in, like
Oh,
a
yeah, yeah.
curler. So there was this lady. I next time I got to take a picture, and I'm going to ask her if I can, just for us to use as promotional purposes, because she's got all ergo brushes and she's got 2 full sets. So there's this lady with all these ergo brushes in her hair. I just want to take a picture of it. But it's the same thing. It's what works for you. But sometimes you're not working smarter, you're working harder, but you think you're working smarter. Does that make sense?
Wait, say that one more time. Yes. The
Sometimes
answer is yes.
working smarter instead of harder, you end up working harder instead of smarter.
Yes.
It's just like it's gooder, okay? But I'm saying is and so like you said, instead of bumping up the size of the brush, no, I'm just gonna manhandle this section until I get enough bend in it, right? That's working harder.
Hold it this high up until volume happens. I'll
Yeah.
just pull it this hard until smooth happens.
Yeah. And then in the old days, we do a little texturizing and do a little back combing. There you go. There's your volume.
Well, I just fried hair with color. That's how I got my volume. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's not frying. That's called a chemical haircut, mister.
No, for the hair that's left. You got to burn it just enough that hair is left,
with your old blow dryer that used to have flames that shot out the end of it.
You know what? And it looked cool as hell too. All the duct tape, the electrical tape and everything holding it together. But yeah, so you got the 43 millimeter is really, really good. That smaller size.
Where is it? Show us.
Oh gosh, I can't reach.
Did it come out of your kit?
Yeah.
Does it have hair on it?
It better not. I'm mental about cleaning my brushes. I really have a problem. Well, I got to inspect it before I put it on camera.
No.
It's one hair. One hair. I missed. You always miss one hair. It's ridiculous. Anyways, to put it in perspective, this is a 43 millimeter. This is a 53 millimeter. Okay. So I don't know if you could tell the sizes.
Totally.
Right?
Totally.
So that's the difference. So these are the Ergo brand. We got them at htbbeauty.com. So these are the Ergo brand. These black barrels are the classic brushes. They have the same thing in these purple barrels,
Love those
which
brushes.
are gentle bristles. I swear, yep, there's one hair on this one too. I'm telling you, there's always one hair. Oh, but yeah, and then these are the gentle bristles. So these are really good for hair extensions. These are really good to people that have sensitive scalps, that have thin hair, fragile hair. The chemical, we're joking about chemically damaged hair, but that would be really good for that. The classic bristles, the black barrels, these are really good if somebody's got thick, coarse hair, somebody's got curly hair that you're trying to blow dry it straight, Yep. But the smaller barrel is going to be somebody that has maybe chin length hair. The hair should only wrap around 1.5 times. If it's wrapping around one full rotation and then wrapping around another full rotation, that barrel is too small for that section. That's why brushes get stuck sometimes, you know? You need a larger barrel. You definitely need a larger barrel.
Agreed.
And then as far as the paddles go, you know, they have the small paddle like you were talking about, and then they have the gentle paddle. So once again, depending on what you're trying to do, I personally like these just because they fit in the palm of your hand so much easier. But the gentle bristle is two-tiered. So
Isn't that cool?
One hair.
And then
I got one hair left in every brush I have. Like, doesn't matter how much you clean these things.
And here's the fun part with the especially with the gentle bristles. If you stuff them in your station or had them in your backpack or something, and the bristles become slightly deformed, hit them with a hot blow dryer, and they go right back into shape. Because
they're tourmaline. The specific thing about these guys, because they're tourmaline infused.
Yeah.
So
how cool is that?
It's heat reactive. Were we talking about negative ions? Like
yes, we did that last week.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that just plays off of, the science we were talking about from last week. So
that's awesome.
It works out.
I love the ergo brushes. I've always been a big fan. And anybody who has not used them, I tell you one thing: just buy that small paddle to start out with. It'll change your life, especially the way with detangling and stuff like that. If you hold up that diamond one up again, Eddie. Here's the cool part: if you hold it sideways, turn it sideways, so like you're brushing hair, right? And you see how now if you turn it and go straight up and down with it, if you notice, it all winds up for detangling too. How cool is that? The thought that went into that brush is just unbelievable. Super cool. Super cool.
Into that, a lot of science into that.
And once again, it goes right along with like we were talking about. Like I was trying the point to get across is once you start using ergo brushes, you will really realize working smarter. You're not working as hard because those brushes are ergonomically designed for your hand, less wrist stress, less hand fatigue, less, and really like for you and me, especially less fatigue on your shoulder and your neck.
Dude, the funniest thing is the day I told you I'm going to start teaching a blow dry class, and the look you gave me was like me, like you of all people. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to start teaching a blow dry class. And now we got it. It's the 15-minute blowout. And that's the entire thing, is the techniques of how you can speed up your blow dry time, how you can make it more efficient, how you don't have to work as hard. And it's phenomenal. It's absolutely.
I love that. Yeah, I love them.
Save your body. Blow drying beats up your body the worst out of any other thing we do behind the chair.
Oof.
I can't think of anything else behind a chair that beats up your body as bad as a blow dry.
I'll go with if you're doing like a full head of foils, that'll beat you up pretty hard too, because that's a lot of
beat you up pretty hard, but I don't think it's as bad as blow drying.
No, but it's still that repetitive motion that just beats us to death.
Foils just don't weigh anything. Like, yes, it's repetitive. I'll probably put a full head of foils number 2.
Yeah. That's I said. Other than
yeah. I'll probably put that at number 2
because not many of us wrap perms anymore. So,
well, perms and foils I think are equal. That's what we should do. We should make a tier list of what sucks. Which service sucks the most? Oh, write that down.
Let's hear from you guys. Let's hear from everybody watching. What sucks? What do you just, when you see it on your book, you're just like, oh,
I need a pen.
Let's hear from you. What beats your body up the most?
I'm gonna make myself a note. All right, what do you got for us this week?
All right, I've got motivation for you, my friend. And it's from Tony Robbins. Setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into visible.
Okay.
I don't know about you. Well, I know you. I do know you, but for our viewing audience, I don't know about you, but I set goals for myself. I learned this years back. I set a daily goal, and then I set a weekly, and then I set a monthly goal for myself, business wise, and a lot of different things that I do. Because being the ADD child that I am, if you roll something shiny across the floor, I'll go chase it. I'm like one of those cats that'll chase the light. Um, so if I don't have goals, and I write them down, you know me and my and writing everything down, and I write everything down so I stay reminded. And as I achieve my goals, if I achieve them, I shouldn't say when, if I achieve them, it is a huge sense of accomplishment for me, from simple crap like, just reminding my freaking wife that I love her, I want this X amount of dollar goal for the business for this week and forward. So, and that's how the things that we want, we get, is by achieving goals, and you got to set those goals. I mean, that's the simplest, from, and you can apply that into hairdressing. You can apply that into your life. You can apply that into, raising your kids. It's the same thing. It's goal setting, and then achieving those goals. And what are you going to do to get to those goals? That's the most important thing to me. So give me your input.
I love it. You know better than anybody how I turn the invisible visible.
Yeah.
I trying to describe our job to people is really wild sometimes. 'Cause, I mean, if you think about it, right? We'll be in a conversation with a stylist, or you and I will just be talking amongst ourselves, and we'll just come up with an idea. And we're like, how cool would it be if any of you listening right now have ever had that conversation with a friend, or thought to yourself, how cool would it be if I wish this existed? Anything like that. That is the opportunity for you to make that a reality. It is possible. The only reason why it doesn't happen is because you don't do it. You're waiting for somebody else to do it for you. And until you wait for somebody else, it can be never. It could be years. It could be minutes. You just don't know. And even when somebody else makes that thing a reality, it may not be the way you wanted it. So what better way to have something that you want be done by you?
Right.
Do it. And do it realistically. Don't be like, oh, I'm gonna do this and it's magically gonna make $1 million. Nobody's gonna show up. You are gonna be the only attendee in the beginning of your own design, of your own product, of your own joke. You're the only one that's gonna laugh in the beginning. You just keep doing it. You keep working at it. Baby steps, talking about writing things down. I mean, this was one of the things. Today's a Giovanni day, bro. I just talked about Giovanni earlier. Now I'm talking about him again.
There we go.
So Giovanni Rizzo, at the time I was in a sales class. I was trying to take a sales class, trying to learn, understand better. And they were talking about journaling, and I just could not wrap my mind around it at all. Ignorantly, I thought that was like a little diary that little high school girls would do for themselves,
Right.
I'm like, I'm a grown ass man. What the hell am I going to do with a notebook and write down my thoughts? Like, what? So completely missed the mark at class. I went right over my head. I'm talking to Giovanni a couple of days later, and he's like, hey, bro, what's going on this week? How's things? And I'm like, I did this thing in class, and freaking journaling of all things. He goes, oh, that's so cool. Are you going to start doing it? You want to do it together? I'm like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, I do it all the time. I'm like,
yeah.
What? No, Giovanni's a cool ass dude, man. So I always look up to him. I always thought I would think the world of him. He's telling me he does journaling.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? He broke it down. And it was the whole thing about turning the invisible into visible. You write down, I want to do this. I want to accomplish this. I want to be this. I want to make this, whatever it is. Okay. That's your eventual grandstand. Now start breaking it down. What can you do this year that'll work towards that goal?
Exactly.
And realistic or unrealistic, it doesn't matter. Write it down. What can you do this year to make that happen? What would it take? Now, this month, what can I do monthly that will help me get to that year's goal?
Right.
Divide it out. And then divide it out weekly. And then divide it out daily. And if you're really, really, really motivated, divide it out hourly. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, dude, you freaking write it all down. And at the end of the week, you review. And at the end of the month, you review. And at the end of the year, you review. And you don't get discouraged. Because even if you made one step forward, that was, you are one step closer.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly it.
Well, he goes, and then just adjust the realism of your goal.
Right.
Or keep dreaming heavy, hard out there and keep working towards it. I mean, either way, you got to make that choice, you know?
Yeah, no, he's right. Yeah, no, that's, I've been doing that for a really long time. Because for my younger years, when I was a young man, I was a freaking plastic bag in a windstorm, you know, just blowing around. And when I got focused and really, and I stay on track, things happen. I create things, the invisible becomes visible. 100%. 100%. So
the only last thing I can tell you is this, bro. Life is a war of attrition.
It is.
Okay. I know that's how I know life. My stubbornness is for better or for worse, my superpower and my curse.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you've seen how many times we've been beaten down,
and
we keep slogging forward.
Yes, sir.
There is no way we would have gotten to anywhere we are remotely if we weren't all about. I love that quote. Hits me in the feels way too hard today, man.
Yep. Turn the invisible into the visible. So with that being said, we are at the close of another fantastic SFTB. We want to thank everybody for being with us. HTB Beauty is how you support the show. Check us out. Be with us. Now we're going to ask all you guys to get out there and make a difference one client at a time. And we will see you next week, guys. Thank you.
Thanks for watching.
The SFTB podcast was not recorded in front of a live studio audience, so thanks for joining us for today's episode. If our hair topics made you smile, give us a thumbs up. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'll read them while waiting for our caller to process. Share this video with your stylists and friends. It helps us make a difference, one strand at a time. And don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Because your hair deserves all the latest and greatest tips.